I'm just going to start it. Because I can crop it and stuff. Watch us record the whole thing and not.
That would be.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Hey everyone, it's Becky Betts with the podcast, The Raw and the Radiant. You can find us on YouTube for if you want to watch it, or you can find us on Spotify under Raw and Radiant. So we are here with Jackie today. She's one of my friends, and it's somebody I trust, and I love her story. I love her energy. I love her vibe. I can say whatever I want to Jackie, and I don't feel weird. But make sure you like and subscribe and share this on social media so we can get this podcast out there, because I feel like it's a recovery podcast. I feel like everybody knows somebody in recovery, and it could help somebody in need, right? So if you can do that for me, I think that would be really great for our community. And it's not fancy podcasts. I don't have the fancy microphones, but who gives a shit? So anyways, this is Jackie. I brought us some Red Bulls. This is my favorite flavor.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm drinking Diet Pepsi.
She likes Diet Pepsi.
Had coffee, now Diet Pepsi.
Okay, so I have some podcast. This is my journal. Oh, making the beauty industry. Making it in the beauty industry, huh? It's for my blog, one of my blogs.
I love that.
God and Finding God is Progressive. Whoa, that's weird. Podcast questions. Whoa, is that weird,
That is
dude?
so weird. That is so weird.
That is so weird. It's not even off onto this page, dude.
Is it pen or pencil?
It's pen.
Whoa. Disappearing ink.
Okay, I'm probably just gonna have Jackie start out by just sharing 5 minutes, a little bit about your story before recovery.
Before recovery.
Yeah, because I got all the recovery questions.
Okay. All right.
And you're gonna have to talk loud because I don't have microphones.
Okay. My name is Jackie. I'm an alcoholic addict in recovery. So before recovery, so my DOC is methamphetamine and alcohol.
If you're wondering what DOC is, it's drug of choice.
Yes. But it did not mean I turned down anything else, but that's just what I preferred. I started using, the alcohol, the weed when I was probably, 14, 15 years old, just to kind of fit in with people. There wasn't any significant reason behind it. When I was about 17 or 18 is when I started getting into methamphetamine. And something significant had happened at that point where I was looking to self-medicate in any possible way. At about 15, 16 years old, I was raped by 4 different men downtown Salt Lake, and that definitely spun my life in a lot of different directions. Once I got into methamphetamine, I started getting involved with a lot of different gang affiliation, and that kind of took off my using career, if you will, my criminal mentality, all of it that comes with that lifestyle, for the next several years. During that time, I experienced a lot of trauma, more raping. I've been stabbed 3 times, losing my children, in and out of being locked up. Using was a daily thing for me, and quickly all humanity that I had was gone, and I stayed away from my family. I didn't want to bring any of the drama with the gang affiliation around them. But there also came a point where I was not welcomed around my family anymore. I would lie. And through this process, I never like stopped loving them. I loved them so much, but the truth was I couldn't even love myself at that time. I was very, very sick in the head. So that's kind of the gist of the before, right? I mentioned the being raped by 4 guys at a young age because that's what kind of kicked it off in a direction of self-medication. And during that time, it wasn't spoken about a lot. People weren't like...
That's like in the days of like walk it off.
Yeah.
You know, don't feel your feelings.
Yeah.
Stop crying. You know,
Mm-hmm.
what's wrong with you? Go to your room. You're grounded.
Yeah.
You know, that parenting style ruined a bunch of us. How old are you?
How old am I now?
Well, I mean, you can just split.
No, I'll say I am 42 years old.
Okay, so we're in the same generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember the first time I showed up stoned at my house. I smoked some weed at a football game in high school, and of course I had red eyes. And I show up, my mom's like, "Why do you have red eyes?" And I'm like, "Well, I smoked marijuana in the parking lot today after the football game," and she just like grounded me for 3 weeks, told me I couldn't hang out with any of my friends, and that was the end of it. Nowadays, like my kid, when he smokes weed, I'm just like, "So what do you think why you're doing that? Like, are you sad? Are you depressed? Or you know what I mean?" Now I'm like digging more into it because I think that we probably both needed folks that asked us the why, you know, instead of...
Well, and professional help.
Yeah.
Right? Like, now it's I mean, everyone has a therapist nowadays.
Yeah.
But back then, like,
we got made fun of for having to go to the counselor's office to talk to somebody at school.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I love about you is you're like right in the middle of recovery, like helping people. Like, I love seeing your Facebook posts. So, like, I have a couple beds open at this facility. Like, I'm at this place where we're connecting with other rehab facilities. And like, if I ever have anybody, like if you've called me personally and needed rehab, I've probably reached out to Jackie, you know, because she just kind of knows everywhere to go. And then insurances, you know, rehabs take insurance nowadays. I don't think a lot of people think that. I know I've been saving up for a long time for Travis's rehab, my 17-year-old's, but he has health insurance, so I could probably go spend that money now, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. Right?
Well, and it's crazy because insurance is always forever kind of changing the rules, right? Yeah. And so just keeping up with that, and I was blessed early on in my recovery working in the industry and landing a spot that was a little higher up, which is crazy because I came from being a hairstylist, managing salons, and then I got custody of a child back, and I was like, oh, I've got to have my weekends free. And so I never planned working in recovery. Yeah, like when I started, like I didn't even know how to send an email.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
I
still don't. Like, Pravana's always like, "Becky, we need you to send your emails through ChatGPT." You know, like, you're an idiot. Like, don't send that shit anymore.
There wasn't like a digital 101 on the streets.
No. Or even to junior high or high school, we didn't even have Wi-Fi till I was 22 when we finally when I got my first cell phone. I was 22. I had just gotten out of rehab. And I got a Nokia where you had to, like, if you were texting, you had to press, like, the button 3 times to get a C. Is somebody in need, dude?
Oh, my 17-year-old child.
So fine. She's probably in need. I think that it's really important to kind of share those hard stories. And I know that sharing some of those, like, vulnerable parts of your story can be hard. I have some parts of my story, but I think it's really important to share, you know, the why and the how and what kind of led up to, like, your what is it called when we do drugs to numb our feelings? What is it? Self-medicating, you know, and we all have that type of trauma that keeps us going. So thanks for sharing that with us, because I'm sure, you know, I know we're unique, but I'm sure somebody else has had a similar situation like that happen. And if we can reach that one person, with your story. We did a good job here today. So
Yeah. And for me, when I first got sober and clean, like, I would find the differences when I would go to meetings when people would share. Like, I knew the alcohol and drug story. I knew that. I knew the unmanageability that came with the lifestyle. But when I started to hear specifically women get up and talk about the results of using and drinking, the trauma that came with that, the places they went, the things that happened to them, the things they did, that's where I started to connect and find the similarities. So I myself have done a lot of work on my trauma, not just within the steps, but outside the steps. At 10 years clean, I started doing some heavy trauma work with a woman that worked with people who have, been in other countries fighting our war, and they come back. And I did a program that they did. And now at over 11 years clean, like, it's been such a game changer.
Good, dude. Good. Yeah, I always share, I mean, the AA steps are awesome. They're gonna be like, your foundation. Like, when you're building a house, you have to have a strong foundation. When we're new in recovery, we really don't know what the hell we're doing. That's why we always suggest getting a sponsor, somebody that's kind of been there before us to kind of guide the way. But like, the foundation is a good one to start with, just the basic 12 steps, and then kind of building onto that. I know therapy and trauma therapy have really helped me, and so those options are also available to us as well. So
yeah, absolutely. And the 12 steps, I mean, if I didn't have that knowledge and experience with the 12 steps, I really don't think the therapy would have been as beneficial for me as it was, because there's a lot of work done within those 12 steps. A lot of work, and it works, so I continue to do it. With the therapy. So
yeah, I agree. And we always share that, like, the steps are in order for a reason. I think that's important to talk about, because like, if you're new to recovery, or steps 1 to 12, we're powerless, all the way up to we're helping other alcoholics and addicts, carrying the message. And like, when you first get here, you're sick, you have problems, you have alcoholism, you've damaged your life, and then you want to skip the first 8 steps, start making amends to like your family, like, I'm so sorry, Mom, I'm so sorry, Dad. And then a lot of us will go back out and use, because we didn't like follow the steps in order,
And following the steps in order
I'm gonna scoot
with
this
a
up.
sponsor, that's, I think, the most important piece. I have sponsors who like to try to take it upon themselves to do the steps alone, and that's not how the program is designed. Or I have women that will just show up to meetings, and like, meetings are great and all, but the steps aren't part of the program, they are the program. So if you're not,
You share about that all the time.
I do. It's
like, every time you share, you're like, listen, the steps are the program, mother effers, mother truckers.
I do.
And she gets like her shit going, It's like, when I was like, damn, like, I was like 4 days sober when I first met Jackie, and I was just like, holy shit, she's a gangbanger, fucking, I love it, and I love you. So
I
that's
love
good.
you. Aww.
Okay, so should we get into some questions?
Let's do it.
What are things that you do when life gets hard but you can't escape with substances?
So thinking is for repetition, right?
Yeah.
Like, when you get here and they say, get a sponsor, work the steps, find a higher power, get into service, I get back to basics. That's what I do. So normally I hit at least 1 meeting a week when things get hard. That means I need to up my program a little bit. So I'm more current with my sponsor. There's a lot more prayer involved, and faith towards acceptance, right? Because if I try to control the outcome, I'm just gonna mess everything up. And I go to more meetings. I get into service. I just really, I focus on that daily reprieve where I get up and I'm doing my dailies regularly.
I think that like when sponsors are like, call me every day for 30 days, it's not to like screw you over. It's just for you to get into that consistency of calling somebody every day for 30 days. So like when your ass is falling off, you're already used to calling that person. So it's like, oh, I hear it all the time. Oh, she wanted me to call her every day for 30 days. Well, it's not because she hates you.
Yeah.
You know, it's because she wants to see you succeed. And then the whole like do 90 meetings in 90 days, that's like a consistency thing too.
Yeah.
Right? And then like yesterday, I mean, I'm sitting at 4 years sober. Yesterday, I had a day off, which if you watch this and you know me, you know that I'm like, go, go, go. I had a day off. I literally was like, should I quit my job? I was on LinkedIn looking for other jobs. I wanted to like I had thought about, you know, some pretty dark shit. And I called Jackie and she texted me back because she's busy. She goes, everything okay? And I'm like, dude, I'm just not good today. And she called me immediately back, you know. So it's good to have a sponsor, but it's really good to have just those homies that you can call and trust.
Absolutely.
So get as many phone numbers from, you know, we suggest men work with men and women work with women. Why, Jackie? Why do we suggest that?
So we don't make babies. No. You know that.
That's how it works.
I mean, when you break it down to it, and we're coming from a place where we have no integrity and we're selfish, right? This lifestyle, and you're stepping into all of a sudden commitment and morals and values and integrity, and that's really hard to do. You know, with the opposite sex, if you're attracted to them.
I can manipulate the shit out of them too, dude. I could get them to say whatever I want them to say to me.
Right. So that's something that we have to learn as we go along in recovery, how to interact with, you know, the opposite sex, and we have to find what's acceptable and not acceptable, not just how we treat them, but how they treat us. So yeah, in my own recovery, I took all those suggestions, and you know, they say stay out of a relationship for a year. I waited like 2.5 years. I gave myself an opportunity to figure out who Jackie was again, because I didn't know who I was when I got here.
Hell no, I was hanging out with motorcycle clubs and causing a ruckus, and I want to write a book and everybody trips out, but I want to call it From Whorehouses to Church Pews.
I love it.
You know?
I love it.
It's just like, I had to relearn things, and I didn't know how to do a lot of things, so I started sewing.
I love that. Well, you are like the woman of all trades. You're out there making chicken coops.
Yeah, dude. I don't fuck around
doing
with
hair,
chickens.
to putting together events for recovery, to like you were like a woman in so many trades.
It's just because I have to keep myself busy, or I want to kill myself on a regular basis. So it's real, you know. So if you're laying around and you're sad, wow, it did it to this page too.
That's so weird.
This is kind of a special book for me because I jot everything in here.
Wow.
Say I'm so excited, not nervous. Like this is when I was going on stage.
I remember that day.
And a humble confidence, invest in myself, invest in a view of myself. I'm ready to, okay. This was actually I hired a business development guy.
Oh.
And he was some of the stuff that he suggested to me to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
Need a better pen or something.
If you could write a recovery slogan on a billboard, but it had to be funny, what would it be?
Funny to society or funny to like
just
people
us,
like us?
us, because like society isn't gonna get it. Like there was those ones like crack is whack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like crack is whack.
I've always liked the one, you know, like hope not dope.
Yeah, hope not dope. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, at least with keeping it semi-appropriate.
What would? Oh, we don't have to be appropriate.
Oh, we don't.
There's a button that I can push that says no children can watch this.
That's so funny.
But it actually is important for a child to watch us as well, because like we both have 17-year-olds that, you know,
they're doing the most.
They're doing the mostest.
Yeah.
And they got our blood, so we're like mama hawks right now.
It's true.
I yanked my kid out of a car at 1:30 in the morning, drunk on Saturday night. And, you know, it was a cool experience. At first, I was devastated, and I felt like all the rage and the fear. It was fear, dude. It was fear. So like, oh, you got to feel all those feelings, you know. And really, it was fear because you just don't want your kids turning out like you, you know.
Right. I have my 17-year-old in IOP currently, and for those of you who don't know, it's intensive outpatient. Yeah.
We really shouldn't talk about them. Because they'll have their own story.
She'll get really mad.
Yeah,
if she
same here.
this.
But just know that we love you guys, and we're crazy because we love you so much. What would be a song that you would choose for like your recovery, like a theme song?
So
like probably like Bone Thugs and Harmony or something.
Probably when I was coming in the beginning, right? One I always play for my little 3-year-old just because it makes me so happy, and I can't even remember the guy that sings it, but it's A Wonderful World.
Yeah.
You know, just because like I didn't notice those things prior to recovery. I remember when I first got sober and clean, and I was smoking a cigarette one morning, drinking my coffee, you know, at the sober living, and I'm looking up at the mountains, and I was like, wow, we have mountains here? Like, I've lived here my whole life, but I just never noticed them. It's just those little things. So
color slaps a lot harder when you're sober, because I feel like when you're using, you're in those dark days, everything's just kind of black and white.
It really, really is. And so for me, that's kind of where I connected with my higher power too, because I had to find a higher power in my understanding. And what had been impressed on me during childhood wasn't working for me. And so again, I come back to those same mountains, and I'd watch the sun rise up over, and it was in Utah County, so Timpanogos and all that is right there. And the sun would rise up, and I'd watch it slowly start to blanket the mountain, and I'd be like, hey, man didn't create that. Something bigger did. And so now, like, if I'm driving down the road and I'm like super caught up in road rage, I'm a road rager.
Same here. I am too, dude.
You know, then I have to be like, oh, hold on. Like, I'll be mid-prayer, like driving.
Yeah.
And then be like, what, motherfucker? Like, and then go back
and then
to
I'm
my
like,
prayer.
sorry, God. I'm trying to love all your children, but God damn it, they need to learn how to drive.
So that's when I have to, like, grab myself and be like, oh, let's notice the colors around us and the mountains, and kind of bring myself back to gratitude. Because
has your view of a higher power changed over the years, like progressed into something bigger?
Absolutely. For me, I was able to once I found that concept of what a higher power was to me, instead of, you know, like judging or condemning, or you do this, or you're not worthy. Once I got to a place where I could define what my higher power felt like and what my higher power was, then I was able to kind of step back into where it was impressed on me during childhood. Yeah. So that's where, you know, I was able to kind of put a higher power more into a figure and look at it that way.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people come in recovery and hear God a lot, and it freaks them out, because, you know, we all have a grandma that believed in God, or, you know, our folks, or an aunt, you know, that's just like, you need to believe in God. And then we get here and we're just like, you know, either mad at God for the experiences that have happened in our lives, or, you know, all of the things. And I think it just takes time. Like, that's what I was talking about, like the steps are in order for a reason. Like, you know, step 2 is insanity, step 3 come to believe, you know, 4 is, you know, it's just it's a progressive steps for a reason. And I think that's a lot to do with our higher power. Like, We Agnostic is a great chapter in the book if you're struggling with like that view. But I think it's one of the best things about recovery, because like I go to church and we all have the same God, but when I come to recovery, everyone has their own twist on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And for me, at the end of the day, like it's all the same.
Yeah.
Whatever name you want to put to it, whatever figure or tree or doorknob or
yeah,
whatever
doorknob
you want
was
to visual.
I think that was my first higher power, like 25 years ago, was a damn doorknob.
Yeah.
And then I screwed around with like oracle cards and tarot cards. And then I moved into like going to the mountains, like burning sage, like kind of some hippie stuff. And then I got into like Indian stuff. Like I did a couple of like sweat lodges. Like I've done all sorts of different types of things throughout the years. And it just seems like during every step of my journey, it was needed for that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember early in recovery, and women would get up in meetings and they'd be like, God is my best friend. And I was like, that makes no sense. So I tried to like step into that. And so I'd be driving in my car and I'd clean off the seat next to me and I would pretend like God was like sitting next to me like a homie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd have to hold my phone up because I was going to pray out loud to him,
Yeah.
right? And I didn't want people to be like, oh, she's talking to herself. And so I'd be driving down the road like this, you know, and I'm like, what's up, God? And I tried to pray like that. But through doing that, I learned that sometimes I made my higher power too big, that I couldn't connect to him. And so I had to make him smaller. And it started to work for me. And then when I got to the third step, you know, turning in my will over to my higher power, I didn't understand what that looked like. I sit there and I pray and I say, okay, God, here it is, take it. I'm struggling, and nothing would change. And I would go to my sponsor and be like, I don't get it, it's not working. And so she had me get a shoebox, tape it shut, cut a hole in the top of it. And every time I was struggling with something, I would write it down and I would drop it in that box. And through doing that physically for so long, I learned how to do it internally. And where I was going wrong is I'm praying, saying, here it is, God, take it. But I was never letting go of it. So
That's my deal, dude.
yeah, I'll make you a God box.
Oh, that's been suggested to me 1,000 times over the years.
works.
Like, I have such
Crazy.
control issues. I'm just like, no. I just want to hold on to it. And it's a form of ego, like edging God out, you know? Like, it's a form of, oh, I got this. I don't need God's help. But it has ruined my life I don't know how many times where I've, like, thought I had it figured out, but I really didn't.
Well, and the maintenance work when things are just too messy, right? Because I still don't got this by any means. I call up my sponsor and we have to do maintenance work, pen to paper, on all 12 steps, on situations, and then I get to process it like that. I don't know why it works, but it works.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shared in a meeting. You were at the meeting, and I was just like, if I wrote down everything that I wanted for my life when I first was new, and that's my will, right? And then I'm like 4 years sober now, and I'm looking back of like what I thought I wanted 4 years ago, this direction, but my life went this direction, and it's been way better because God was the one taking control. Like, it wasn't my will. Because if it was my will, I'd probably be dating another outlaw, you know, and it would just be bad news bears, dude. But I'm 4 years sober. I still can't date. It's a joke.
That's okay though.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's not because of my emotional well-being anymore, but I do remember like stay sober for a year. So I like started like, okay, maybe I should dabble in this dating thing, you know, and I emotionally could not do it at a year.
Yeah, well, at 2.5 years when I got into my first relationship, like if I hadn't had, you know, that time getting to know myself and what was acceptable and not acceptable, I wouldn't have survived, you know, that breakup at 4 years, sober and clean, engaged. You know, it's so.
I think it's very important too. I share this all the time. It's like, for me, it's not just alcohol and drugs, it's men too. Like, I have to add men into that as well, because anything that's going to make me feel better is what I'm addicted to. Like,
Right.
I ended up in the hospital with pleurisy a couple weeks ago, and they put me on oxygen. I got addicted to oxygen, bro. I was just like,
Is that clean air,
I'm bringing
you
my
know?
mom's a condenser into my room. I'm like sleeping on oxygen. Like, I wake up and I have the tube lines, and I'm just like, yeah, like that shit is good, bro. Like, literally got addicted to oxygen. So it's like, I think it's very important for us when we first get here to just hang with ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's a really hard thing to do.
It is.
And
That's harder than not doing drugs and alcohol.
Oh yeah. The drugs and the alcohol, I like how it's put, right? Like they weren't my problem, they were the solution to my problem. I'm my problem, and everywhere I go, there I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's yeah, I had to detox off of the lifestyle that I had come accustomed to. Anger was a big one. And that's one I still have to watch today, because I can get drunk on anger super easy. So
Yeah, I feel like, if we had a therapist here, they'd be like, anger is a secondary emotion. So you need to figure out what's triggering your anger. And then you're just like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, and the steps kind of do that for you without
Yeah.
saying that annoying phrase, right?
Yeah.
They're like, okay, well, what's your part in it? You know? But yeah, it has gotten easier over the years. I mean,
I think just with all the things, like the foundation of our recovery, like we just know what to do just without even thinking about it. Like I just knew that I just like picked up the phone and called you last night.
I love
Like
that.
I didn't overthink it. I didn't give a shit if I was bothering you.
Love it.
Like I think that when we first get new, we don't want to call our sponsor and bother them. But you got to remember, your sponsor was also new at one point and had to call somebody too. So it's her way of giving back. She's working her step 12, and it's very important just to know that you're probably not bothering your sponsor.
Absolutely. And
Unless I'm your sponsor, you're definitely bothering me. I don't really sponsor. So if I have a couple sponsors or sponsees, it's just some maintenance stuff that, if I have sponsees, they just say Becky's my sponsor, and I'm like wink at them when I know they're like have never worked a step with me. You know what I mean? I'm like, bitch, I'm not your sponsor. Like you can say it all you want. It makes me kind of look all right.
Oh my gosh. Well, and it goes both ways, right? Like if you're not calling me every day, or you're not doing the work, like I'm not sponsoring you, because that's literally the purpose of a sponsor, is to walk you through the steps and teach you how to apply the steps to your life. Not be a therapist, not be a relationship counselor, like none of that other stuff. And I think the lines get blurred there quite often, but I can't help you if you're not helping yourself, right? And
we can't want it more than you.
And I see that a lot.
Yeah.
I see that, especially with people in treatment. Oh, will you be my sponsor? Because we're at the same meeting, and then I never hear from them again, or they might call me once, or
you're down the road. Or they're sharing that you're their sponsor, but they never fucking called.
Right,
you know what
right.
I mean?
It's like 8 months later, and I'm like, oh, wait, what?
Oh, Becky's my sponsor. I'm like, I don't even know your name, dude. I don't know if you have children. Do you have a dog? Like, do you work?
Yeah.
Are you still in sober living?
Yeah.
Like, what is your game
Are we
plan
clean?
here,
Are we-
bro?
I
What are
don't
we
know.
doing, dude?
Yeah,
I think that's so funny.
it is.
I think that's funny that we just talked about that too, because it's like
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, like the work is the most important piece of all of this. And then I think the second part is the community. I have been blessed to be involved in multiple different communities in my recovery from moving around, but I've always been in the center of that community wherever I go. And it's like I think of 5 years I moved from Utah County down to North Salt Lake, and so I had to kind of like start over like a newcomer, even though I had 5 years sober and clean. And I did just what I tell my sponsees to do. I went and introduced myself to several people at every meeting, and I was inviting them places, and I just got right in the middle of it. And the community, that's where the selfish part is okay, right? Like I need you guys in my life,
Because they need us too.
Yeah, like you calling me last night, like I was feeling a little disconnected, but I didn't realize how disconnected I felt until we taught, and I had such a lift afterwards, like a high from it, that I was like, oh my God, that felt so good. Like,
Oh, good.
yeah, like I didn't realize how much I needed that call.
Oh.
It's weird how it works.
They do say that. They say sometimes when you call your sponsor, they probably need it too.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, maybe I should call more often.
Do
Just
it.
kidding. I'm too busy to call. But
Well, hopefully you go to the New Year's Eve bash.
I was just about to bring that up. So, like, one of my problems is I'm very lonely. I've taken myself and I've removed myself because people hurt me. And though I've worked on that, but instead of like doing it the healthy way by going and trying to trust people again, I just will not do that. I just will not do that. So I just have like literally a few people. I don't go play poker after meetings. I don't play the dances at the Alano Club. I don't go to any of the facilities and do any of the activities. And I just don't really, I haven't gotten to that point yet in my recovery. I'll go to work and I'll talk in front of big groups of people and help them with color formulas. But as far as like letting them in, so anyways, she's like, she caught on to it really fast last night when I was like, dude, I think I'm lonely, but I don't really want to date a douchebag, like, you know. And she's like, well, when you least expect it. I'm like, fuck that. He's gonna have to knock on my door and be like, God wants me to date you.
It's probably gonna happen, and I'm gonna laugh when it does.
It's gonna be like the mailman or UPS guy. And I'm gonna open up the door and I'm just gonna be like, oh, you're here.
That's weird.
That's
Yes.
crazy. So yeah, I think that going to the New Year's Eve bash would probably be a good idea for me. My kids suggested, I have teenagers that I start dating, so I kind of like crawl out from under their asses a little bit, and I'm just like, ooh, probably not. You know?
Well, and even getting just that social group of people where you can be yourself and you can feel the growth at the same time.
Yeah.
That's where I love it. Like, do I hit every single event? Absolutely not. But there's some that I go to every single year, and this one's gonna be really, really good. So I went to Hallow Clean. That one was a blast. It's a blast. When you get a bunch of, drunk addicts who are sober and clean together in a big room, there's just something about the vibes.
Let's talk about it, dude. Like, you think you're gonna get sober and your life is gonna be lame. Like, I'm an artist, so I thought as soon as I quit smoking weed, I wouldn't be an artist anymore. That type of stuff. And like we were just talking a minute ago about how when you get sober, like the colors are brighter. And so tell them about that. You tell them about that, because I can, but you're my guest.
I don't know, like, I remember when I first got sober and clean and people are like, hey, let's go laser tagging, and I'm like, that sounds so lame.
Yeah, like you're a nerd.
Yeah, like, let's go over to Denny's after the meet. I'm like, that's so lame. But I started to do it, and I started to find that I was genuinely laughing when I would go, very unexpected, right? And I started to find that it made me happy, right? And then I stopped being the one that was waiting to be invited to places. All of a sudden, and it happened pretty quickly, I was the one pulling together people to go here and go there, and it just, over time built up into where I am also helping with big giant events for these things. I was on the God Camp Out committee for like 8 years, and there's just something like, it gives back when you're giving. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to explain it.
No, that's me all the way. I'd rather do a service work project than hang out with, like, because then I have a reason for being there, and it keeps me. I mean, this is way off topic, but if I have a service commitment, then I am in need. They need me for something, and like I don't need to be there making friends or socializing because I have a job. Like, I need to make sure the food's prepped. I need to make sure the tables are done. I need to make sure the decorations are on point. Like, it's so bad. Like, also if there's a baby in the room. I've noticed. I'll go say, hey, can I hold your baby? And then that takes me away, but I'm still there. Yeah. And I have a purpose to hold this baby so the mom can go enjoy herself, I love that. I'm such a weirdo.
And I've also realized, like, I thought for a long time that, like, I just hated people. But I enjoy being around people now. And I think it's because I'm okay with myself. When I was early in recovery, my sponsor, at the time, she had me chair multiple meetings, right? And back then it was like, oh, and by the way, it's a 2-year commitment. And I was like, oh my gosh. So here I am chairing these meetings. And back when I got sober and clean, and the meetings are starting to slowly get there again. This is like way pre-COVID, where there's like 150, 200 people in a meeting is normal, right? And so I'm chairing these meetings, and I go to gas stations or whatever after the meeting, and people would be like, oh, hey, Jackie. And I'd have no idea who they were, but they all knew who I was because I was there chairing that meeting. And that's where a lot of community started for me as well. You know, I'll walk up to that person that's new in the meeting and introduce myself, give them my number, just because the people that did that for me in the beginning saved my life.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've found myself starting to do that type of stuff. Like Sunday night meetings, my home group. And so everybody knows, like, if I'm anxious, they know, you know, if I'm in good headspace, they know. Like, having a home group is so important. Having a service position at your home group is so important, because you're checking in with that home group every week. And I was a grapevine rep at first. I did that for 2 years, and it just kept me. And it's so cool because now when I get my birthdays, everybody's like, I remember when you sat in that corner and you all told us to fuck off and you guys didn't know what you were doing or talking about. And here you are, like, you know, pretty much happy. I mean, I feel like I'm happy. I just have like downward spirals that, you know, that consistency thing. I know what to do. I know who to call. And then I snap out of it, right? I don't like to stay there because it's not fun.
Right. And one thing that blesses me with the continual gift of desperation is remembering what it was like prior to getting here, because my bad days were bad, and even my good days, I'd say towards the last 5 years of my using, were bad. You know, I hear every now and then, like, I'll hear like newcomers like glorify something from their past. I don't talk about my past a whole lot, unless it's in a setting like this, or I'm sharing in a meeting or with a newcomer, just because there's nothing funny about my past. My past is messed up. And so yeah, I find that interesting when I'm watching people try to like one up each other, and I'm like,
John shared about that in the meeting. This is the only place where we try to out-bottom each other.
Yeah.
You know? Because you'll get some person in here like just glorifying some shit, and we're just like, dude, it's like somebody was talking about a new drug the other day that I had never heard of, and I was like, I don't know what that is. And then they started explaining it to me, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck what it is, bro. Like, I don't want to know. Shut it down. Yeah. Like, he's a newcomer. He's starting to get into the details, you know. He's still talking about that life, you know. And I was just like, dude, that's not what we're doing here. Like, let's talk about.
And if you can look at your past and see it for what it is, you're leaving that door open. Right? Like, I think, well, I know the hardest part wasn't putting down like the drugs and the alcohol, but the people I considered family from that lifestyle, stepping away from them. It was not easy, and there was a lot of grief involved. And so maintaining being sober and clean, I had to find people like-minded that were also, and this is just my experience, that were in the program, that had multiple years, that were doing what I was doing, that were sober and clean, that had integrity, that were doing all these things. And I continue to surround myself with those people today. And when we get together, because we get together for holidays, we do barbecues, we do all sorts of stuff, and we're like clowning on each other, we're laughing, we're watching movies, we're playing games, we're eating good food. Like, we're not sitting there like trying to one up each other on the crap from our past. Like, it's just, we don't dwell there.
No. I hardly ever talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
When I first got here, I talked about it all the time. I was a victim, fucking martyr. I wanted to fight everybody.
I wanted to deal.
Throwing chairs, leaving meetings. I was just like either crying or angry. And now it's just like, if somebody shares something that I don't agree with, I just kind of like, okay.
Interesting.
Like, good for you, dude.
Yeah. And it's cool though, because when I don't agree with it, I can share something gracefully with maybe my perspective on it that may be more beneficial for that newcomer, because that's usually my concern when I'm sitting in a meeting, is what that newcomer needs to hear, that maybe I have some experience in, and maybe it will help, maybe it won't, but I know I feel better afterwards. So
yeah. Well, I think that you and I both have the read the room aspect, and a lot of people don't have the read the room aspect. They don't know how to like read what that meeting needs. Like, we have this guy that comes in from West Valley or whatever, and he shares some crazy shit here in Bountiful. I'm like, dude, You're in Bountiful, bro. We're not in West Valley right now, but
I gotta hit that meeting.
yeah, you would get along with that guy. Like, he's a gangbanger, you know, like but I'm just like, holy shit. Like, when he shares, I'm just like.
Well, and I love people with really low bottoms. Yeah. I love people that are a little bit more crazier, right? Like, I like to connect with those people because I was that person when I came in here. And like, on Tuesdays, I'll go to the prison. I meet with the inmates coming out on release day. I love meeting with them. And I can tell you from like the first few words we exchange, if they're coming back or not to prison. Like, it's just really, but I love the women that are really broken with trauma, because I can see in them there's so much potential and growth that they can have brought into their lives if they put themselves in the middle of this program. So the more broken people are, the more crazy they are, the more I just kind of gravitate towards them.
I think you're the lowest bottom I want to hang out with. I'm not really like you in that way. Like, I'm a Bountiful kid, so I'm just like to stay in this little bubble over here. Like, everyone's okay. We're okay. We're all okay. We're gonna be okay.
And it's funny because I grew up in Bountiful. I just took off when I was younger to, you know, Salt Lake County.
Sow some oats.
Salt Lake County, like, and but I always come back to Bountiful. Bountiful's where my family is. It's where my home is. It's where my heart is. And I am so grateful to raise my kids in this area, because there is a huge difference between here and Salt Lake County. I love them both, but there's a very big difference. So.
I love judging your story, and like, because it's so funny. Our stories are almost exactly alike.
Yeah.
But we're totally different people.
Yeah.
I think you've gone through a little bit more than I have with some trauma stuff, but I really do appreciate that we're two Bountiful kids that ran away from this place and sowed some oats.
Yeah. And
now we're back and we're healthy and we're doing good and we're trying to raise healthy, happy children, and I mean, we know what to do, you know. So let's wrap it up with a couple more questions. What would be something that you would tell somebody that was new in recovery? Like, what would be like a blurb? I know we've talked about like consistency, going to meetings, meeting makers make it, but like, as far as like giving them grace or giving yourself grace, and like, I know you got some good shit for the newcomer that is struggling.
Is, you know, keep it simple. This is a simple program, but it's not easy. And it's just like all the cliches sayings that you hear, like, you know, like, sit down and shut your mouth, right? But the cotton, how do you say
I wish more people would do that, dude.
Yeah.
That's like, old school shit. Like,
it is.
You know, hey Becky, we don't want what you have at 1 week sober, 30 days sober, shut up.
Yeah.
Don't talk till you have 6 months.
Yeah, like, there's a reason for it, you know. When you have, you know, 25 days, you're not going to tell this room how to stay sober and clean when it's, you know, your 9th time picking up a chip. Like, sit back and listen. And then again, with the basics of the program, get a sponsor, work the steps, go to meetings, get into service, find a higher power, and take the suggestions. They might not be black and white in the big book, but the suggestions are there for a reason. And stay out of relationships for the first year.
What if they're already in a relationship?
Well, you know, really sitting back and taking a look at that relationship, right? Like, if you guys, period. Like, if you guys have used together, the odds of you staying sober are not good, right? You know, it goes in so many directions. At the end of the day, the two things that I see kill people in the rooms is relationships and resentments. Those are the two things. I've been to a lot of funerals over the last 11 years, to the point where I don't go to the funerals anymore. Relationships and resentment.
Yeah, I think that's all good stuff. I already asked you that. Oh, would you rather, let's ask this. Would you rather sponsor 10 people that never, oh, we kind of already talked about this, never call, or one that calls you 10 times a day?
Shit.
I say neither. Like,
What?
neither, dude. I say
if I had
neither,
to
bro.
choose, because if you're sponsoring that one calling you 10 times a day, it's like you're sponsoring 10 people that are calling you.
I remember I'd call John Red at like crazy times. Like, I knew he was in bed with some bum, you know, but I would be like 10:30 at night. I'm like, hey, this just happened. And then like 7 o'clock in the morning, hey, this happened. Now I just call and be like, hey, just wanted to check in. Like, I called him on Thanksgiving, and it's just like a check-in. But yeah, it's crazy.
Well, when I first got sober and clean, and now I can look back and see how it could quickly be a disservice. The most women I sponsored at one time was 13.
Damn.
And they were all in the big book. They were all calling me, but I didn't have the responsibilities anywhere near what I have now. I was able to constantly take them by the hand and go to meetings and events and the hangouts afterwards, and a lot of those women I got through the 12 steps. If I was to try to take on more than that now, it would be a disservice, because I just, you know,
we have a life now. Like, you get sober and get a life, and you get a job, and then you got to be there for your family, and you can't do it all.
No, and
one area lacks.
Right. So, you know, the most I'll do at one time is maybe 2 or 3, taking them through the book. But I have a lot of sponsees that will do maintenance work and things like that. But, you know, and sometimes I get that crazy sponsee that feels like I have 10. So.
Like, I'm your daily, like, I call John my emotional support animal.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is us. This is Jackie. She's awesome. If you are having a problem, if you're new in recovery, I hope this helped. If you are like us, you know, she's got multiple years. I have 4 years, and you still, you know, have that downward spiral sometimes. Hopefully we gave you some suggestions to kind of bring you out of that. I think this podcast is really, really important for the world. You know, I go to church, and a lot of the people in my church come up to me and talk to me about their teenagers, their grown children, you know, and I get to help in that type of way as well. And anyways, like and subscribe, share this on social media. Let's get this podcast out there, and we love you.
We love you.
We love the shit out of you. Cool. Hopefully it didn't.